Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and today let's fly the famous Canarsie approach to Romeo 13 left at New York JFK in the Kuro Boeing 787-8. We've got a very fitting airplane for this one in the American livery, and if we look down into the ocean already we can see that there is quite a bit of wind currently, as we can see by all the white swells we have down here. Alright, this promises to become a very exciting approach, but before we start it, let's actually go ahead and have a look at the approach chart itself, kindly sponsored by Navigraph. So, we are going to start the approach at assault, maximum 210 knots and mandatory 3,000 feet, and then we're going to start our descent towards 2,000 over at Canarsie, and then we'll start on a 3-degree descent with a minimum at 1,260. After laser, we are going to start with the visual segment of the approach, following the lead-in lines, and we've got a couple altitude advisories on the charts, but we are ultimately down to ourselves flying that last part of the approach as a visual. So that is what the approach chart looks like. I am sure this is going to be an exciting approach, so let's get straight into it. We've got about 4 miles before we start our descent out of 5,000. The platform is going to be 3,000, so let's go ahead and pre-select that already. And we've got our minimums of 1,260 that we still need to set up over here. Okay, so for the approach itself I'm going to use flaps 30, and here's a little trick that I'm going to use, in that I will configure the airplane rather early. We've got a 210 knot speed restriction over at assault, and we will make absolutely sure that we are going to abide by that restriction and altitude. So a very quick look into the FMC and everything we got in here, because this can be very helpful on an approach like this. So we've got assault 210 knots and 3,000 feet, then we've got Canarsie at 2,000, and we've got the 3-degree glide slope marked in here, and the altitude restrictions that we've got for the crossings are correct as well. So that means we should get a reliable VNAV path indication for our approach into JFK today. Overall, that is pretty much what we are up to, so why don't we go ahead and start our descent towards assault now. By the way, in case you are wondering, I did build that initial part over here myself, because I just didn't want to follow some, very long procedure. Indeed, the procedure we did use over here to start this is one that I kind of learned in the simulator, because my simulator instructor had the idea that, hey, we have a little bit of time left, and on the first recurrent simulator I'm going to fly this particular approach in the 330 sim, so we worked ahead a little bit already. Alright, so that is pretty much our approach. For the heading bug, I've just pre-selected it to Romeo heading already. Then we can go flaps 1 to help the airplane a bit with the deceleration. A tiny bit above the VNAV profile. Because it didn't start the descent on its own, I had to press the altitude intervent button, which was a little bit unusual for my feelings, but well, if that is how they programmed it, then that's how they programmed it. Alright, anyway, we're well on track again to intercept the 3,000 feet prior to assault, so that is everything we need. The interesting thing about the Canarsie approach really is that they fly it in whatever the weather conditions. As long as the minima are met, they are going to fly this. And if we have a look into the approach chart and into what the minima actually are, then we'll quickly see that we need just 1,260 feet over there and 2 statute miles visibility. So you're going to have that in a lot of situations. And actually there are some great real-life videos of this particular approach being flown with heavy aircraft out there on YouTube, which I can absolutely recommend you to check out after this video. Right, let's continue with the approach itself then. We are initially going to overfly the island over here, where we've got that old airfield, and then we are basically going to follow the highway we have over here on the side, but we are going to get guidance by the FMC for that. Okay, so over at assault, speed is good, 210 knots, then we can continue our descent. Would you kindly do that as well, please, dear aircraft? Thank you. Okay, flaps 5, so we've got approximately like 12 miles remaining. We can see the wind is quite strong into the runway direction, 22 knots. So that makes this particular approach a little bit more interesting even. They use it when the wind is down the runway, but the wind down the runway means that for the entire visual part we're going to have quite a bit of drift in it, making our operation a little bit more interesting, to call it that way. Okay, flaps 15. You can see that I'm slowing the airplane down rather aggressively right now, simply because when the time comes to drop the landing gear and when the time comes to get the airplane established, then everything is going to go quite quickly, especially since over at Laser we're going to have a visual approach. So let's prepare as much as we can. Terrain noted. So just about on the short final there will be a little hotel that is quite a visible marker, and being that we need to be in about 460 feet. By that time we should have the puppies visible as well, but in the simulator they aren't that easy to distinguish all the time, so that's going to make our life a little bit, let's call it more challenging. Okay then, missed approach altitude is set, gear down, flaps 20. We'll give speed control back to the airplane. And flaps 30. Okay, there was an FMC message a moment ago. There is no more. Alright, so. Approaching Canarsie, 2,000 feet. And thereafter it's going to be the 3-degree descent. We can already make out the terrain ahead of us. So we've got that little highway over here, and we're going to fly just about over the highway, and then we should be able to see the lead-in lights as well. Normally they should be just up here. I have a feeling they are a little bit absent right now. I would expect to see the lead-in lights already, but we'll see about it. Pretty sure that they are eventually going to come into view. Okay. So we're approaching Laser. Autopilot off. Flight directors off. Why is there still a VNAV indication? That's not supposed to be there. And auto thrust off. Okay, no clue why that VNAV is still active. Okay, here are the lead-in lights. We can see them down here. Come on, autopilot. Thank you. Okay, approaching minimum is checked. Continue. So. Lead-in lights should be a little bit better visible. Okay, here they are. Down there. The HUD can be of a great help now. We know it is a 3-degree profile, so if we just keep the flight path vector on the 3-degree line while steering the airplane over the lead-in lights, that is going to make the approach fairly easy for us. Okay, you can see the runway over there. We can see the hotel. We should be in 480 beam the hotel. But we can also see the puppies over there already. So that's just about perfect. I have a feeling something on those lead-in lights was a little bit off there. But here we are. Perfect. So, coming up nicely. So, Microsoft Flight Simulator puppies, I'm not going to trust them on the very last part of the approach, but you can see how the 3-degree line on the HUD is perfectly aligned with the aiming point, and that is what we're aiming for. Phew, that's a strong rudder input there. Okay, speed brakes up, thruster is normal. Manual brakes. And here we are, welcome to New York JFK. Alright, let's go back a little bit and have a look at what that looks like from the outside. Well, that certainly looked a little bit harder than it actually was. In any case, guys, I do hope you enjoyed this one. Do let me know in the comments below, and I would like to thank you very much for being here today. If you liked the video, leave a like, as it does help out with the YouTube algorithms, and comment to let me know what you think about it. And finally, I'm really looking forward to what you have to say. Subscribe for more, and I see you all again on the next one.